forgot was to turn off push to talk. The main reason is my push to talk button sadly also functions as the back button and causes hassles. So basically what I'm going to be doing here today is to show you guys how to have your cake and how to fucking eat it. So you want these free Congos and Miyokos, but you don't like the arpeggio skins. Well, you can change them yourself, and I will show you guys how. First of all, before we go too far, I'm going to explain a couple of things. This is basically just going to be skin swapping. So all of the skins, as you saw, my Congo was yellow instead of purple. That's actually the Harina skin. However, basically because we're just doing skin swapping for the assets that are already in the game, it's going to be relatively quick and easy. But before you go ahead, you must, absolutely must, back up your files, save them, save those files somewhere else, save the originals elsewhere, because it's easy to make mistakes. I've made a couple of mistakes trying to attempt this video a couple of times, and if I didn't have a backup on a USB drive, I would have actually had to have re-downloaded this game at least once. And the reason why I say I made a couple of mistakes is because I was running with 4 to 5 windows open, and it just ended up screwing everything over. So I'm going to stick to it with nice and simple, 2 windows open, and we're going to go through this together. First of all, I'm going to restore all of the textures back to the way they once were. So you see my backup over here. I'm going to show you the folder that you go to modify all that in, and copy that folder before you change anything. So go to the folder where you've installed the game. In my case, that's on Z drive, and then World of Warships. Then you want to open up the res folder, content, gameplay. Then you want to do Japan, because while the game treats the arpeggio ships as their own separate faction, in the game files they're still under Japan. So you want to go into your ship. Because I'm doing the Congo, we'll be doing battleship, but the Miyoko is obviously a cruiser. And then in the textures folder. So this is just reverting everything back to, from my backup back to original, and then we'll start again. Best way to make the backup, pretty much just copy it to an external drive. I've copied this to I actually have the entire game backed up to a 32 gig flash drive, but even though it's USB 3, I don't actually play it from the USB because I found it's actually operating a little bit slower than the hard drive I've got this installed on, which is a bit odd. So what you want to look for now is you want to do a search for Congo. You're going to see several results here. So you've got the Congo with the U at the end. That's actually the arpeggio Congo. Then you're going to find there's your 3 models of the normal Congo. So you've got your 1913, you've got your 1942. Alright, so you've got your 2 models of Congo, your 1913 and your 1942. Whichever one you want is basically the files that we're going to copy. So let me go back over on this window. So basically all you need to do, in this case I've grabbed the Congo 1942 items, is you just need to rename them to the JSB 1nc0mp3t3nt 501_Congo with the u_TGS. And that will then make the game associate that 1942 actual with the ARP Congo. Then it's just a matter of replacing those files. And sorry about the mic, it's a bit sad, but it's a $20 Logitech hunk of crap that I've had for a long time. I do want to replace it, but I've got to get a job first before I can get money to replace the mic. Would have been actually nice if I'd have won that Razor Kraken from the Project R, but it's alright, whatever. Now, my personal opinion, as you saw, I was using the Haruna skin. I like the Arpeggio skins. I didn't really dislike the anime, but I didn't overly like it enough to watch it all the way through. I stopped at episode 7, but not everyone has this. Clearly, not everyone has the same tastes with the amount of noise you guys have been making, so as you can see, I've got a spare copy of the 1942 here. I've also got my spare copy is the Haruna. One thing that you will have noticed is that the plane was purple. The plane files are separate files, but I've had a little bit of issues getting those plane files copying across. It's like the game's either been loading the negative or loading them as red. So that's something I'm going to play around with a little bit first before I go into that one. But I'm pretty sure you guys can put up with a black and purple ship, or you can experiment with it yourself. One other thing to note is that when Wargaming does patch this, you'll more than likely find that your skins will have reverted, so you'll have to go back and do it again. Seems I'm having some internet connectivity issues at the moment. Let's try that again. That would be what the issue is. It's OBS using up all of my bandwidth. Ooh, got an email. It's actually quite funny with OBS, it either hogs all my bandwidth or the videos look like crap. And the reason why I'm just doing this direct stream is so that way I don't have to spend 7 hours uploading a 10-minute video, which is what happens in Australia. It's a bit annoying. I wanted to have this video pre-edited it on my computer, but Windows 10, you know, breaking Vegas Pro 13. And me not finding a proper non-linear video editor that I can use for free. Let's just see if that fixes this up. Bandwidth is still capping out. God damn it, OBS, I set you to 800 kilobits per second. The final result. So yeah, as I said, the plane is still purple, but that's because that's a separate asset. It is going to take me some more time playing around with it to not make it look pure red or look like the negative, which was a really bright blue. So that I may do a separate video on that later on, or I may just post the instructions in the thread that I'm going to create with this video. Just to also further show you that it is the ARP Congo, you will see that there is no option for camouflage, and that's normal with all the ARP content. So that is how you can have your cake with the ARP ships for free, and how you can eat it if you really do not like the anime skins and you just want it to look historical. You can choose two of the Congo skins that they've got available. The 1942 obviously looks the best. But anyway, I shall go back to using my Haruna skin, and you guys have a good day.